is Metro Detroit attorney Michael Ricciardello. Good morning, Mike.
Morning, Andy. Morning, Bart. How are you guys?
Good. So no court this morning. You were able to make it in for your TV appearance?
Fiance cleared my schedule for me, thank God.
Good.
Because you guys called me yesterday.
Michael was recently selected as a super lawyer, one of only 2% of attorneys in Michigan receiving the distinction of 2022 Michigan Rising Stars. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Isn't that something?
Yeah. So you've really kind of found your niche over in the Metro Detroit area. Talk a little bit about kind of how you started your practice and kind of where you and your partner are now.
Yeah, I graduated law school 2011.
Well, you should start where you graduated from high school.
I graduated from high school in 2003 from Lumen and went to Western Michigan University. Then University of Detroit Mercy, where I met my law partner, Anthony DeMattis. I worked in bankruptcy for a couple years. Then I started picking up court-appointed cases, found my niche in criminal law, was working for a firm and said, I can do this. So Anthony and I started our practice, and it's been 5.5 years, and
wow.
Yeah.
I'm still paying bills, so that's good.
One thing I've noticed just from talking to you, it seems like a lot of folks from your law school classes, it seems like you kind of develop partnerships, and a lot of people end up working together from those classes.
In my circumstance, it certainly has been. I mean, Anthony went to law school with me. The guy who practices in the offices next to us was in our law school. Another woman, Pamela, she was in our law school, my best friend. I mean, it is amazing after 12 years, the relationships I've forged and maintained from law school. And
yeah.
I always tell people, I may not practice that type of law that you find yourself in, but I certainly probably know someone.
Yeah.
We were in Detroit last night, and one thing that you can't help but notice the number of billboards for attorneys in Detroit. Most of them are for liability, personal injury.
Mm-hmm.
Is there that much personal injury happening in Detroit?
We saw personal
Well, there
injury,
must be.
5 cars
we
in
saw
front of us.
personal
I
injury.
almost threw your card in their window,
Yeah.
Mike.
2 cars.
I do some personal injury, but I'm not billboard status yet. The majority of my practice is criminal defense, but drive around on a daily basis, the amount of car accidents you see, there's certainly a need. And a lot of times someone in a car accident doesn't know who to call, so they look up at a billboard and call.
Yeah.
Luckily, most of the billboards happen to be over where car accidents.
That's exactly right. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Well,
Yeah.
it's either medical marijuana
That's the thing.
or car
Last
accidents.
night on the way to Detroit, you could either hire a lawyer or get medical marijuana delivered to your home, and those were really the only 2 options. The
Actually,
entire way.
I don't think you can have medical marijuana or any marijuana in the city of Detroit. You can't buy it there yet, can you? I think the city still hasn't figured out their regulations.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't live
I
there.
don't know.
And I can't speak on that. I don't do the medical marijuana stuff and licensing, but I'm sure Detroit wants it because it is a good revenue source.
Let me ask you about the Oxford trial, and more is coming out about that with these Crumbly parents. Talk a little bit about that case, kind of what you see from the prosecutor's office, but then what you also see with Feiger, suing the district and named staff there.
And I don't know much about the civil aspect of it with Mr. Feiger. What I do know is that it's an extremely sad situation all around. I mean, and you were just talking about child abuse and neglect, and this is probably a case that would center at the forefront. Mm-hmm. It's historic in the sense that we have parents that are charged at this point. Mm-hmm. Also, it's historic in the sense that they brought terrorism charges. Mm-hmm. And I live in Oakland County where this happened. I voted for Karen McDonald, Sheriff Broussard. One's a Democrat, one's a Republican. I think they both have done a phenomenal job. I mean, it cannot be easy having to get up in front of the media and explain all this and all the evidence that there is out there and handle the community that they have. That's just such a difficult case, and it's going to be something we talk about. Legal precedents for a long, long time, as well as the magnitude of the case.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a long road,
Yeah.
this whole proceedings.
sad.
You, I think, got into law because you were influenced from family members who were attorneys.
My whole mom's side of the family are accountants. My whole dad's side of the family are accountants or lawyers. I got an accounting degree from Western Michigan, decided that there was no way I was ever going to be an accountant, and I did an internship with a prosecutor's office in Texas and really liked the courtroom and decided, I want to go criminal law. I tried to do prosecution. While it was rewarding, it didn't provide enough money to provide for my fiance.
We just had Sheriff Gary Schutte, Jackson County Sheriff, on, along with Under Sheriff Chris Simpson, and they talked about how folks are getting bonds on cases that, historically they'd never get bonded out on. Is that what you're seeing in your area? And is that creating a little bit of a problem with criminal activity because folks know that they are going to get out of jail?
Well, I'm not going to say it's because I'm a super lawyer. That I get them out. But no, at the beginning of the pandemic, you were seeing people getting out of jail on bond where historically, like, how?
Right.
And I understood that. We didn't know what was going on with it, and they were letting quite a few people out of jail. I did sit in a bond hearing and hear an attorney. I heard an attorney make a bond argument for a guy who's been in jail for 10 months on pretty horrendous charges, saying he needed to get out because he didn't have his sleep apnea machine, but he hadn't had it for 10 months. So kind of. But yeah, you do see people getting out of jail on bond for lower bonds that historically would have been higher. And that's because they don't want to keep a ton of inmates in jail and spread COVID.
Yeah, I think that even was not just the bond, but sentences were reduced, and people got out of jail or out of prison early too.
People were getting out of prison early because of COVID. I mean, if you were up for parole, they were kind of moving you to the front of the line. But we're still dealing with the state of Michigan, so things got lost in translation. You'd have someone calling you asking, why isn't my person up at the front? And it's, you just didn't know what the state of Michigan was doing. But I think we're finally rounding a corner because I'm starting to be in person in court more than Zoom. So
Nice.
I think we're on the other side of this.
You mentioned the fiance. You're getting married.
I am getting married.
Congratulations.
She'll like this. It's May 28th. Last time I was on your show, I got the date wrong, so now I have the right date.
Who is she?
Samantha
There you go.
Tornberg, my fiance.
Yeah,
yes.
there you go. Yeah. Now you and I, we got to go to Hilton Head for your bachelor party.
Wasn't that something?
Yeah, it was fun. What was the highlight of that for you?
It was nice to be standing there with your three best friends on 18 Green at Harbor Town, a PGA course with the lighthouse in the back. That was a really, really surreal feeling, being able to travel with your friends again and play a cool golf course.
He only had one of his typical golf course Michael meltdowns.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
where
unusual.
he didn't talk to anyone for 3 or 4 holes.
That was one hole.
Banned from, I think, just about every golf course in Jackson
Just
County
about.
at one time.
Just
The
about.
one I remember is Concord Hills.
Yeah.
That's the one specifically that comes
Yeah.
to mind.
To this day, if the Sprigs see you, they
I walk the other
Good
way.
thing you became a lawyer. That's all I got to say.
yeah.
How
Thanks.
though?
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me. It's always good to see you guys.
Thanks, Mike.
Detroit area attorney, super attorney, Michael Ricciardello. Next up, Kate's